Okay, let's take a look at how to do random assignment and get it right on the AP test. So the key principle of random assignment is that all subjects must have an opportunity to be assigned to any of the treatment groups. So how do we do random assignment? Well, first of all, before I talk about that, let's say you do this diagram on your free response for your AP test. The diagram is not good enough. You need to explain how the treatments are assigned and what will be measured and compared. All right, so we're going to focus right now on how the treatments are assigned. Okay. First, we're going to go ahead in this problem and describe how we would randomly assign these 14 middle schools to each of the two methods. I've got group 1 and group 2. We're going to look at 3 different methods. One is the slips of paper or hat method, which is the simplest. One is using technology, probably your calculator, and one is using a random number table. All right, so the hat method, again, always the simplest. Write each subject's name on one of the slips. Put all the slips in the hat, and this is kind of important, by the way. Go ahead and mix thoroughly. Okay, you want to make sure you mix that thoroughly. Draw them out at one at a time until you have 7 slips. The good thing is everyone had a shot at being in the first group, because when they call the winner and you're sitting there and you're hoping they draw your name, at least you know that they have a shot to draw your name. This is good. Okay. These 7 slips will get the treatment of a normal curriculum and plus the Career Start, the first treatment. The remaining subjects will get the normal curriculum, which is the second treatment. Now, here's an alternative. It's not my favorite. Something feels wonky to me, but technically it's okay. So what you could do is write plus Career Start to represent the regular curriculum plus Career Start on 7 slips, and then write regular curriculum on another 7 slips. Put the slips in a hat and mix thoroughly, and have subjects come up one by one and pick a slip from the hat. This guarantees that the 7 schools were assigned by chance. I think the only thing that makes me a little wary about this is that if I know all the Career Starts are already picked, then I already know that I'm not getting it. There's something there that bugs me, but technically it's okay. All right, so using technology, this works really well. Give numbers 1 to 14 to the schools in alphabetical order, and then use the calculator's random integer command or a computer's random number generator to produce the numbers from 1 to 14. Make sure that you tell them that you're going to ignore any repeated numbers. So the first 7 different numbers chosen, that selects the schools to participate in the first treatment. And then the remaining schools go to the second treatment. So with technology, it's actually pretty good. With a random number table, it gets a little bit tricky. One, you could give numbers 1 to 14 to the schools in alphabetical order, and then select a line on the random number table. You could do this randomly. Read 2 digits from left to right. The first 14, that identifies the 14 distinct numbers, identifies the 7 schools assigned to treatment 1. And the remaining schools will be assigned to treatment 2. You want to ignore repeated labels and groups of digits from 15 to 99. Now, you could make this work a little easier because 14 is kind of low. You'd be ignoring a lot of digits. Maybe you could multiply by, let's see, 7 would be 98. So you could say 1 to 7 is the first school, 8 to 14 is the next school. And then remember that you need to specify what you're doing with 0, 0. Okay? But then you could say, hey, this is really complicated. What if I just flip a coin? If they get heads, then they get treatment 1. If they get tails, they get treatment 2. That should be much easier. Well, as long as all subjects get to toss the coin, then you're cool. But here's the deal. You can't care that you don't have the same number of people in each group, because that's usually not going to happen. But honestly, we normally care when the size of the groups don't match. So you'll say, well, okay, I'll force the groups to be equal. So what you could do is keep flipping. You got your first person, your first school, or your first subject flips. Okay, we're in treatment 1 or treatment 2. And you keep flipping until one of the treatments is filled. Once the treatment is filled, then you're going to put everybody else in the other group. This means they are no longer assigned by chance. And the last subjects on the list will be assigned to the unfilled group, which could possibly lead to bias. How could that lead to bias? Well, what if we had the schools listed by the time they signed up? Wouldn't the first schools be a little more enthusiastic about Career Start than the last ones? So this is a problem. Don't force the groups to be equal. Do not use a coin flip. Please try using one of the other methods.